Not a minute goes by that I don't get a phone call or just bump into a stranger on the side of the road that says, Adam, they know me, of course, because I'm super popular on YouTube as a movie critic. Adam, sir, have you seen The War of the Rohirrim? And I say to them, listen, I'm better than you. Don't talk to me, peasant. And then I tell them, yes, I have seen it, though. Please watch my review that's coming shortly. Now, don't even look in my direction. No, in all honesty, I don't think I know a single person that even knows what this film is. But of course, being the idiot that I am, I went out and watched it. The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. An over 2-hour anime. Just what everybody's been wanting from Lord of the Rings. Let's talk about it. What's been going on in old Middle-earth since we last left it? Well, if you're watching The Rings of Power, absolutely nothing. But if you're like me, patiently waiting, salivating at the mouth for something more from Peter Jackson's world that he's created, obviously with the help of Tolkien and his brilliant works, well then you are in luck. Because we have The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. What a fucking dumb title. The Rohirrim are the people of Rohan. You know this if you read the books. You don't know this if you're me. I didn't know what the hell. I'm like, Rohirrim, what is that? Is that the name of the army? Is that a group of people? Is it a place? We're at Rohan again. What's happening here? Well, they say it one time in the movie, Rohirrim. It's the people that live in that area. But anyway, we have a Peter Jackson inspired universe with the visuals matching that of Helm's Deep and of Rohan and of the armors. But the movie also pulls from Tolkien's work with the well-beloved, well-received character that no one's ever heard of before. The daughter of the main dude. Her name is Hera, and she's the daughter of Helm Hammerhand. And I got a hammer handed to him. He made one smoking hot, fiery redhead. And if you don't think so, well, tough shit. We're going to be spending over 2 hours with this chick. Some people are going to be upset. They're going to say, Adam, why would you even give this thing an ounce of your money? I apparently count money in ounces. And I'd say, well, you know what? I review movies. That's what I do. I'm going to give this the benefit of the doubt. Sure, they didn't follow a main character. They instead kind of like copped out and did their own thing with this Hera woman, who I think is mentioned a few times in the book. I'm not sure. Maybe she is the main character and people are being salty. I'm going to guess not, though. Anyway, she is going to be who we follow. She's confident. She's strong-willed. She's independent. She's typically right. She's a good war strategist. She's good hand-to-hand combat. Good fighter all around. Can ride a horse like no other. Hot. Sexy hot. And she's just all around a badass girl boss, what everybody's been wanting, and definitely no one's sick of on the internet in 2024. Here's the deal, I don't mind a girl boss. I've seen a lot of boy bosses. I don't think that term's even used online because the internet's great like that. But no, I've seen a lot of boy bosses, guys that are amazing at pretty much everything. They don't take any guff from no one, strong-willed, sort of independent thinking. That's all good if it's wrapped around a enticing package. Unfortunately, this film is not. It is animated, it does look beautiful, but it also doesn't look beautiful. There's really, really choppy animations going on. And I read a little bit, I know it's hard to believe I read anything, but I did read that this movie was greenlit in 2021 and they had to rush the hell out of this thing to get it done in time. The original cut was about 2.5 hours long. A ton of different art studios had a hand in getting this thing completed in time. They used some newfangled technology, combining 3D visuals and then adding the 2D into it to give it a more seamless look and feel instead of rotoscoping everything. Unfortunately, it did not pan out. And what we have here is kind of a testing ground of ideas that never come to a good, cohesive final product. Instead, very stilted dialogue, very choppy animations. The voice acting, while it can be really strong at times, can also feel very, very disconnected from the scene going on. Like they'll be in the middle of a snowstorm fighting, and the people will be having a conversation like they're just in the back alleyway of a TGI Fridays talking about how bad their meal was. There was a scene early on when Helm was talking to his daughter Hera, and he would say something. There would be this awkward pause, not because there was thought contemplation or something, just because of, I guess that was how the animation lined up with the audio or something, but then Hera would respond, there'd be another awkward pause. It just did not flow well, especially when arguments would take place and you expect people to kind of trip over each other, cut each other off. There's very little of that. And it just speaks to the entire production all around. The music, while it does retain some of that original theme infused at the beginning and mixed in here and there, overall, it is very, very subdued. It doesn't have that strong impact that you would expect. And I guess that's what annoys the crap out of me the most. Folks, this is a Lord of the Rings movie. This isn't the Amazon crap. This is another Warner Brothers production with New Line Cinema, the same dudes that made the previous Lord of the Rings movies. It is set in this same universe as Peter Jackson's trilogy, around 200 years Richard prior to the events of The Ring and Sauron. And the movie lets you know that right away. We get voiceover narration. We get the map of Middle-earth zooming into animated. We talk about Jackson stuff a little bit. We tease into it a little bit. And that annoys the crap out of me because this movie doesn't deserve to be playing in the same field with this pro over here. It doesn't deserve to be mentioned even through a wind passing by. This is bottom tier stuff. This is straight to Netflix levels of animation quality. And it pains me to say that because this could have been something special. We've seen some amazing productions in animation in the last couple years. Into the Spider-Verse, that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Hell, freaking Arcane season 1 and 2 did some brilliant animated stuff. We should be seeing Lord of the Rings on that level. And nay, we should see it higher than that. And so to give us this like half-assed mamby-pamby animated film with low-tier production values, bad story, like I can't get on board with this at all. I was sitting in the theaters bored out of my fucking mind. And this is a person that will gladly watch not only the Lord of the Rings extended, but the Hobbit trilogy extended. I like all of that crap. Hell, even Miranda Otto is in this movie voicing her character from the original trilogy, Eowyn. She's in this. I didn't even know that was her. Completely went over my head. And as I stated, the story is just not fitting for the tale that they're putting on the big screen. This is something small that you maybe do a series arc on Netflix or Amazon or wherever they can put the stupid thing. Max, I suppose. That seems to be what Warner Brothers has the deals with. But Hera, like, she's a fine whatever character. There's just not much to her of interest because, again, she's just really good at everything, knowledgeable about everything. There's no nuance there. There's no real struggle there. Hera is to be married off to a Lord of Gondor. Well, Freka, another nearby king, not thrilled with this idea. In fact, he wants his son Wolf to marry her. And Wolf's into it. Wolf actually, he likes her. They've known each other since they were kids. They used to spar out in the fields. Helm says, "Are you out of your freckin' mind? You come into my home. You start insulting me and you want to take my daughter's hand in marriage for your son? Are you out of your mind, bro? Let's take this outside." They go outside, they start throwing hands. Well, really, Freka throws all the hands. Helm takes one shot, drops this guy like a bag of dirt, killing him on the spot. This causes Wolf to flee. He's pissed, he's sad, he's angry, he's all the emotions, and he's gonna build up over time an army in secret to go against Helm and claim Rohan for his own. And this is going to set into motion the big arc of the film, which is going to Helm's Deep, which isn't called Helm's Deep at the time. It gets rebranded later for obvious reasons, where they're going to make a final stand. If that sounds familiar, it's because we saw this fucking movie in The Two Towers, the second Lord of the Rings film. To go back here and do a retread, I know it's not the same story, but we're back at the same location, pretty much doing the same thing again. It's just tiresome and uninteresting all around. And now we have characters who don't hold a candle to the original crew. There's no Legolas, there's no Gimli. There is a budget Sam. I will say that there's a budget Sam in this film. He's useless. They're all useless. This whole movie is just completely disappointing. I think another huge problem I have with this and the story and just the overall setting is, why is this the one you animate? It felt like a movie they could have done live action. There is no orcs really at all. There's no elves here. There's no hobbits. There's no cave trolls. There's almost, it's just humans for the most part. It's almost entirely humans. Yes, you have some crazy creatures. You have the Watcher of the Water, which, you know, we've seen that before already. You have the Mumakil, which are those giant elephants. They went all in on Mumakil. These things are constant in the film to the point where they're almost no threat at all after a while. It's like, oh, we got more Muma to kill. Great, how exciting. And as for the action, again, I've seen way better in the Peter Jackson movies. There's no reason that this needed to be animated, and they didn't do enough with the animation to take it over the top. Like, oh, I see why they did it this way. Wow, this is a really unique experience. We could never get this vantage point. We could never do this kind of shot. It's not to say the whole thing is bad. There are some interesting attempts with the animation, such as cameras going underneath the horse as it's riding, doing almost a Matrix-esque, Matrix Reloaded style of going through the horse's legs and whipping around. Some of it's all right, but for the most part, it just feels like they tried something and didn't really succeed. And so where I'm at with this, as a basic Lord of the Rings fan of the movies, love the movies, didn't read the books, so I didn't care for this at all. As someone who loves the lore, loves the Tolkien works, I would imagine you'd hate this, because just how they changed the story around, or maybe they didn't, maybe I'm talking out of my ass, which is entirely possible. In either way, I feel like you're letting both sides of the audience down, and the basic folks that don't know much about any of it and just want to see a movie for a couple hours, I'm not sure you're going to sell them to see this film. What's in it for them? Because it feels like they have to have some knowledge going in. And I can assure you, had I not known anything about Lord of the Rings, yeah, there was a lot of stuff where I felt they didn't really paint a good picture for a standalone film. Well, there you have it, my thoughts on The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you watched this movie. Based on the box office numbers coming in, you didn't. It's not doing well at all. Cutting corners often doesn't work unless you're Illumination. Then you can just shit gold bricks until the cows come home, as the kids say. Let me know. Please like the video. Subscribe if you haven't. I post content every single week. It's always movie related. Sometimes I dabble into TV shows, but entertainment. It's what we do here. Let me know your thoughts though. If you love this channel and you appreciate my hard work, maybe think about supporting it by becoming a patron at patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. There's different tier levels with different perks every single month. I would appreciate it. All right, take care.